This is the Ping crossover, really exciting launch. This is an entirely new category. So people like me, and I'm sure lots of other golfers, love the idea of a hybrid, love the idea of the forgiveness that they know they're going to get. Maybe not that keen on using long irons, especially when the lie is not quite perfect, or maybe it's early on in the round, not quite feeling confident. But equally they fear that they're losing control with a hybrid, or similarly that they're not quite getting the same control, or they're not able to control the distance in quite the same way. Well, here's the crossover, and this is where it comes in. So Ping are very keen to say this is not a driving iron, it's much more versatile than that. When I look at it, it says iron to me simply because it's got a hosel, I guess, but there are like massive differences. And one of the things that we've been told already is that this is in no way related to the Rapture driving iron that we saw a few years ago that was great at what it did, at hitting the ball really flat, but really was quite a specialist club. This is a club that a lot of golfers are going to be able to use. It's going to go higher than a long iron, not quite as high as a hybrid, so it's really going to bridge that gap, and Ping felt that there was still a massive difference between people's longest iron and their hybrid. The idea of the crossover is going to get right in the middle. It's going to help those players who need to hit an exact number, and also those players who want to be able to hit one low down in the wind but still value the forgiveness. So it sounds great, doesn't it?
You know, when we looked at the hybrid category in general, hybrids themselves are one where there's just a lot of variety. Some players get on really well with them and we'll put 2 or 3 in the bag. Some players, we still now get some players saying, I can't hit hybrids. This is the blanket statement of they just don't work for me. And I think that's part of the inspiration of the crossover is, okay, there's a decent number of golfers out there that we want something a little more than a long iron, but maybe not quite the solution we have with the hybrids right now. And so for a lot of golfers, I think the crossover would be instead of a hybrid. And then there'll be a bunch where, like myself included, and I'm not by any means a professional golfer, I play off 12. My set is going to look like a driver, a 3-wood, a 3 hybrid, a 4 crossover, and then a 5 iron through wedges. And it actually blends really well. If you look at that crossover, it's much more like a long iron plus. I get the kind of spin, more like a long iron, but I get some extra ball speed help. And so I think we'll see a lot of sets where it's almost treated as a very forgiving long iron. And there'll be a lot of golfers who that could be completely instead of hybrids. So they may play a 3, 4, 5 crossover and no hybrids.
So this is a new crossover, and wow, I've hit a few shots with this. I just think that the British player absolutely going to love this. I mean, there's just no question. It sends it out there much flatter, more reliably than a hybrid, but it feels like it's coming off really quick. Sort of no element of feeling you're going to get off the bottom rail or anything like that. Even when I've got them a little bit low off the face, which was my concern with an iron, still got a pretty good fly and got it out there. So if you're somebody who likes the idea of a hybrid but doesn't quite feel they get the control, especially when playing in the wind, I think it's just a question of which model of these you're going to put in the bag.
I only read it from 2 sides here. I read it from mainly behind the ball and the low side of the ball. So my first point of view that I